The father smacked his own daughter right across the face, threatening to disown her if she didn't give him the money. It turns out this successful CEO was being bled dry by her whole parasitic family. For years, they had faked one sickness after another to squeeze millions out of her. First, it was her uncle's brain hemorrhage, then her aunt's heart disease and her cousin's diabetes. Now they were demanding $3 million for that same cousin's so-called leukemia. The woman finally said no, revealing she had looked into their lies and found out they used her money to buy a new mansion and 2 fancy cars. She told them they weren't sick, they were just sick with greed. That's when her uncle's family burst into the office to escalate the attack. Her aunt immediately fell to her knees, crying and begging her niece to save her daughter. The uncle then grabbed his chest, faking a heart attack from all the stress. Her father, blinded by family loyalty, screamed that she was an ungrateful kid who had been ruined by money. But then the woman revealed the biggest betrayal of all. Years ago, her cousin had tricked her and led her to a bunch of thugs just to impress a school bully. The cousin heartlessly brushed it off, saying it was just a childhood prank and that she should just get over it. After her father hit her and her mother turned on her, the woman finally seemed to break. She agreed to give them the money. The family was thrilled, not knowing this was all part of her plan, because the second they left, she gave her assistant a chilling order to get a coffin ready for her. And that's when the final betrayal came out. In a private movie theater, the greedy cousin was in the arms of the woman's husband, celebrating that they had successfully scammed almost $10 million from his wife. But their party was cut short when they got a call telling them the woman had suddenly dropped dead from a stroke. At the funeral, the family's true colors really came out. As they cried fake tears, they were already whispering about how to split up her assets and take over her company. But what they didn't know was that inside a custom high-tech coffin fitted with the hidden camera, the woman was watching every last one of their phony acts. They thought they were at her funeral, but she was about to make it theirs. The uncle immediately announced that his now cured daughter would run the whole company, securing the family's future. But what they didn't know was that from inside her coffin, the woman was listening to their every single word, disgusted as their true colors were revealed. Just then, her third uncle, who had been out of the country for years, stormed in. He immediately shut down their plan, refusing to let them take over. He accused them of being heartless, reminding them how they had bullied his niece her whole life, even trying to scar her with sulfuric acid. The aunt screamed at him, calling him a liar who was just after the money himself. Her son then threatened him, and the argument blew up into a huge fight, with the family beating each other up right in front of the coffin. That's when the mother finally snapped. Screaming at them all to shut up, she broke down in tears. She pointed at each of them, finally admitting the truth, crying that they were all vampires who had been blinded by money. As she collapsed over the coffin, sobbing that she was sorry for not believing her own daughter, the woman inside slowly opened her eyes. With her parents finally convinced of their relative's betrayal, the woman's husband stepped in to reveal the final layer of betrayal. With the husband boldly announcing that as the dead woman's spouse, he was the only heir to the company. The father, confused, protested, but the husband showed him a stock transfer agreement. He then turned to the parents and offered to let them sign, giving them a small piece out of respect, but when they refused, he showed his true colors, revealing hundreds of private photos of their daughter and threatening to post them online if they didn't comply. As the parents reeled from the shock, the father rushed at him but was pushed to the ground. The husband coldly forced them to sign. But just as they were celebrating their win and told the funeral staff to take the coffin away for cremation, the coffin lid suddenly slammed to the ground. In that instant, everyone froze in terror. The husband made fun of them for being startled by a fallen lid, but his smile disappeared when a golden lucky cat fell out of the coffin and smashed on the floor. Just then, the funeral staff got ready to close the lid for good, but the husband and cousin had other plans. As everyone watched, their plan to totally humiliate the woman they thought they had beaten was finally put into action. Just as the coffin was being pushed toward the incinerator, a group of thugs stormed the crematorium hallway, viciously attacking the grieving family. But what no one knew was that inside the coffin, the woman who everyone thought was dead had just woken up. She opened her eyes in the dark, horrified to realize she was trapped. A message on a screen outside said, "Cremation of Suye, this was her funeral." Outside, her family watched, but their sadness was all an act. Her younger brother noticed Suyue's husband getting a little too close with her own sister. Only then did he realize they were having an affair. In another corner of the hallway, Suye's father was finalizing a plan with his son. He had hired those same thugs to cause a scene. He explained that they wouldn't hurt anyone. Their only goal was to rush in and steal the coffin. Since the husband and sister wouldn't even spare the dead, this shocking act was the only way to force them to give up Suyue's inheritance. Inside the coffin, she started to panic. Suyue remembered her assistant saying that this was a custom-made soundproof coffin. No one could hear her screams. She frantically tried to push the lid, but it wouldn't budge. Desperate, she found her phone. She tried calling her parents, but they didn't answer. She tried calling her friends, but no one picked up. With only seconds left, she dialed her company's head of security. Just as she hung up, the thugs attacked. They punched her brother and shoved her father to the ground. The mother threw herself at the thug's feet, begging him to spare her daughter, but he just kicked her away without a word. As the men carried the coffin out, the father gave a quiet nod to his brother, who was the mastermind behind the whole thing. Once the coast was clear, the uncle helped the grieving parents up, promising he would find their daughter. What they didn't know was that this was all a lie. In the back of a speeding van, one of the thugs complained that stealing the coffin was the weirdest job they'd ever done. The leader sneered, telling him that this wasn't a coffin, but a box of cash. Inside, Suyu heard what they were saying. She had called her head of security, Liu Jinpeng, for help. That's when she realized he must have betrayed her. But just as she figured that out, Liu Jinpeng and his security team stormed the crematorium, only to find she was gone. Horrified that she might have been burned alive, he immediately called the police, telling them it was a matter of life and death. Trapped in the dark, Suyu made one last desperate call to her parents. Her father answered, but when he heard her voice, he exploded with anger. He accused her of being a scammer who had stolen his dead daughter's phone, and then he hung up. But her mother insisted it might really have been her. In a fit of rage, the father smashed the phone on the ground. The mother grabbed it and called back. Su Yue answered, proving it was her by bringing up a specific childhood memory of her mother carrying her all night on a mountain road to a hospital. Realizing their daughter was alive, the mother burst into tears and the father's face just fell with guilt. Su Yu told them she was in a warehouse and begged them to call the police and trace the signal before her phone died. Just as her father was frantically dialing for help, the uncle burst through the door announcing that he'd found her. He revealed the kidnapper was a well-known gang leader named Lei Hu and that the coffin was hidden in a warehouse in the southern suburbs. Just as the father got ready to tell the police, the uncle stopped him. He warned that Lei Hu was a ruthless criminal and that calling the police would only put Su Yue in more danger. Fearing for their daughter's life, the parents agreed. The uncle insisted the only way was to pay the ransom, so he took them to the warehouse. There, they came face to face with Lei Hu. The father offered him a briefcase full of money in exchange for his daughter, but Lei Hu just laughed, throwing the money on the floor. He said that a measly 1 million was an insult. He then revealed his real price. He didn't want their cash, he wanted their mansion. He pulled out a property transfer contract and demanded they sign it. Without hesitating, the mother grabbed the pen and signed the deed, screaming for him to give her daughter back. But just as she finished, Lei Hu laughed. He admitted he was only hired to get their signature on the house deed, but now he wanted more. He tossed another contract on the table, this one for the complete transfer of their company's stock. The mother stared in horror, realizing she'd been tricked. He sneered and made it clear that he only promised to get them to sign, not to return their daughter. Meanwhile, inside the coffin, Su Yue overheard the thugs talking in a room nearby. That's when she discovered the horrifying truth. They made fun of the family for being so clueless. It wasn't her security chief who had betrayed her, it was her own uncle. He had planned the entire kidnapping, using them all as pawns in his plan to steal the family fortune. With a chainsaw roaring, a thug threatened to tear a woman's coffin to pieces unless her parents signed over their entire company. The mother was terrified, her husband was helpless, and her own brother-in-law, the man they called Big Brother, just watched from the side. Just as she picked up the pen, her phone rang. It was her daughter, the same one they claimed was inside the coffin. She whispered that the kidnapper was her own great-uncle Big Brother. The call was cut short. The mother tried to call back, but the phone was already off. That's when she realized the horrifying truth. He raged about how they lived in a mansion while his son lived in a shack, unable to get a girlfriend because they were so poor. He screamed that they never once thought to help him, forcing him to fake a deadly sickness just to borrow money. The husband, filled with guilt, fell to his knees and apologized, begging his brother to spare his daughter. Big Brother sneered and told him to sign the papers, promising to give the girl back if they did what he said. The husband immediately signed the papers, handing over the family's entire fortune. Big Brother took the papers and ordered his men to bring the girl back. But instead of a living person, they rolled in the coffin. The thug made fun of the mother, telling her a dead person can't run away. But the mother screamed that her daughter was alive, that she had just called her. Big Brother was stunned. His son grabbed the phone and saw the recent call history. The murder plan had failed, and now they had a live witness. The son and the thug decided to finish the job. The thug revealed he had tried to trap the girl once before back in school, but this time she wouldn't get away. As the thug grabbed a crowbar to pry open the coffin and shut her up for good, the doors burst open. The mother rushed to him, begging him to save his wife. But he coldly pushed her hand away, looked at the mess, and ordered his men to grab everyone, leaving his wife still trapped in the coffin. In a remote, wild area, the man had a giant pit dug, ready to bury his own wife and her entire family alive. He had them all tied up and gagged, forcing them to watch as an excavator got their grave ready. The girl's uncle, the man they called Big Brother, demanded to know what was going on, but his own daughter defended her husband, telling her father not to worry. The son, however, immediately saw the truth, yelling that he was clearly up to no good. Big Brother accused the husband of trying to steal the family's assets. The husband just smiled, offering to split the fortune 3 ways. But Big Brother refused, calling him a worthless freeloader who didn't deserve a single penny. The husband's smile disappeared. He ordered his men to grab the thug who had helped with the kidnapping and throw him into the pit as a warning. The thug screamed that he was innocent and just a hired hand, but they tossed him into the grave anyway. Terrified, Big Brother's son immediately dropped to his knees, begging his brother-in-law for his life. Just then, his sister made a shocking announcement. She was pregnant with the husband's child. Her brother instantly realized this was his ticket to staying alive, celebrating that they were now one big family. The husband then demanded the son prove his loyalty. He walked over to the coffin where his real wife was still trapped inside.